Hello and welcome back to the Shmuseum, where today we are going to be talking Lamborghini Huracan STO, having a full induction tour and going through all of the prices of the options that I have on my specification. And I still can't quite believe that I own a Lamborghini in this colour. My first Lamborghini ever in Viola Bast, this very metallic magenta, purple, pink. And one significant change is that we now have number plates. We've actually temporarily installed the plates for the moment. They're not properly screwed in, but you do actually get a very nice bracket as standard with the car, which I hadn't experimented with. It might block some airflow, but that's how it's homologated, and I'm actually quite happy to have it that way because, of course, it is a legal requirement to have number plates. But we're going to start with an induction tour to go through the car itself, to open up the Cofango, to open up the engine bay, all of the different things that came with it, some more beyond what we saw at the collection. And as you can probably tell, I've decided to be as bright today as that. It sticks out so much, even in a garage here, of plenty of very, very, very bright cars. This is so insane. Anyway, Lamborghini Huracan STO, based on the Huracan Evo, the newest generation, effectively, of the Huracan, the facelift, you could say, with the 640 horsepower, 5.2 litre V10, rear wheel steering, but basically the full track version. Lots of aerodynamics, lots of incorporated design and aero features from the Huracan Super Trofeo race cars and the Huracan GT3 race cars that have won plenty of different things, like all of this stuff, the louvers that you have over the arches, the openings that you have for the cooling, or sorry, for the airflow that comes up through the bonnet, a snorkel over the top of the roof, a removable engine bay cover, this shape, look at this, what is this? This is the most unusual thing on a car, and then all of the angles and craziness of the wing, you can adjust the central section, and if you come round towards the back as well, it's just mad. This car is absolutely mad, everything about it, and it's so loud. When we had a press STO here to take out for a drive, I honestly thought they had done something fishy with the exhaust, but this thing it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I guess by way of an induction then, to kind of talk through this, I don't really know where we should begin, perhaps trying to demonstrate opening it up a little bit. Maybe we should start right up at the front. This entire front clam, everything from here forwards, is one piece. The Cofango, it's called, combination of two words in Italian, meaning bonnet and wings effectively brought together. To open it, you press here, where you have this little lock, and there's a key to do that, which is stowed down in the driver's footwell, in fact. We have it unlocked at the moment. You give that a press, and this is how you open the bonnet to store anything, and how you plug it into the smart charger, which is a little bit complicated. You do the same on the other side, and then you have the complete transformer as this pivots to the front. This huge carbon fibre piece with very limited storage that it reveals. I'm just going to come around to that side because there is actually an arm here to grab it. I guess if you're doing this outside and it's windy or something like that, you would use this to hold it in place. But imagine if you ever damage this. It's a whole new front end, and it leaves these openings for the headlights, which have the obviously cool Huracan design. It's interesting to see a little bit more under the skin, how you go from the bright metallic purple through to the white frame and obviously the crash structure. Now in the center, you can see those scoops where obviously the airflow comes in through the lower part of the splitter and goes up to keep the nose planted down to the ground. In here, we have a bag of quite interesting tools, which we will go through in a moment. Then you have that foam, almost storage compartment. You're not going to be fitting a lot in there, but you can take that out and you've got a little bit more and access to the battery. To plug in your smart charger, you can't use the 12-volt socket, that doesn't work. It has to go directly on some clamps onto the battery behind that flap, which is a little bit tedious. So Lamborghini should have made that a touch easier. But anyway, the point is, everything about this is ludicrously extreme. The simple fact that we have the car opened up like this makes little sense. There's a sticker here, which I hadn't noticed before, which says Viola Bast, the paint color, this ridiculous shade. But I mean, the idea obviously in motorsport is that you have a front clam that if it gets damaged, you just pull it off and put on another one, and it's easy to access different parts and whatever's underneath. On a road car, arguably not necessary, but very, very cool nonetheless. And then to close it back up, carefully doing this, pulling it back down, I'm not sure what the best way to do it is yet. I think to probably just latch it, give it a click. I think we've got a tractor going past outside at the moment. Click down the second side as well, and all is back in order. Now, around towards the rear, the engine bay cover works in a very similar way. It's quite awkward to do it on my own, but I'll give it a go. Give this side a pop, that's released. And we come round to this side as well. You can also have these locked, of course. Give that a pop. Then there's a latch here. It says, there we go. Give that a little flick. Then this is the challenge. Can I get this right? There we go. Another lovely carbon fiber part, which I can perch on our trestle table that we picked up on eBay, of course. So we've got that in place. And you can just see the carbon fiber on the snorkel and this shark fin. How cool is it to have a shark fin that runs over the top of the rear deck? And then here, check this out. Lamborghini's V10, 5.2 litres of naturally aspirated, incredible sounding engine, delivering amazing power, 640 horsepower, maybe not as much as some of the other supercars, but it's quite a lot, believe me. Now this develops from the Evo rear-wheel drive. Obviously it's a rear-driven car, but it does actually have rear-wheel steering as well, which makes it quite a different car to drive than the regular Huracan Evo or Evo rear-wheel drive. Now on the wing back here, you can see that you can adjust this between 3 different positions depending how much downforce you want. We're currently in middle effectively, but you can change it and it adjusts the angle of this middle section to give you a little bit more aero or a little bit less aero. So not the ALA system that was in the Performante, different to that, but you see so many aero features around this car. Here, for example, the NACA ducts, these are shaped to accelerate air that's coming in, whatever it might be for. Down here at the lower rockers as well, more airflow managed as it goes through the sides there. The wheels on the car are just crazy. These are the heck upgraded wheels. We've got CCMR carbon brakes, massive stopping power, of course, track car. To have a quick look at the interior of it, quite a few different options and upgrades that I have in here, but stripped out, lots of carbon fiber, Alcantara, the STO specific sports seats, a new seat that they made for this car with the unicolor yellow accent trim, the full carbon fiber door cards, just really cool. And we'll go through all of the specific options that I have on the car in a moment. I'm just flabbergasted by it. I didn't expect to be, if I could say, so overwhelmed by this car. It is mind-blowingly crazy in every possible way. I might try to see if I can pop this back on, which is going to be another little bit of a challenge. It's just, I don't know. I've been looking forward to owning my first Lamborghini. I just didn't think it would be something quite so extraordinarily insane. This is going to be a challenge, but let's see if I can do it. It basically latches down at the bottom, has to pull forwards ever so slightly. I think I've managed. Click, done. That actually wasn't too hard. I thought that would be significantly harder. Click. And then what I was saying about locking it, let me show you quickly. Down here in the footwell, not sure if you can see this, just here, if I can pull it out, there we go, is the key, which you use to lock these, twist them, and you've always got it on you inside the car. It does actually come with 2 of those, along with the ordinary keys. I think that's it for the induction of the car. Let's go take a look at the other bits and pieces. We had a look at some of these things when we were at the Lamborghini showroom with Craig at Lamborghini Pangbourne, so I won't go through all of the details. It comes with everything in quite nice Lamborghini packaging, including your cleaning kit, your car care kit. I haven't actually been through that yet. We had a look at this, the plaque that you effectively get. You get one of these for the specific car. This is for the Evo, just to show you. So mine will get one when it's a year old, which is really quite nice. Every car comes with that. The ascension order, the firing order of the V10 engine and its cylinders. It's quite a nice thing to have on my desk, so I'll get one of those for the STO down the line, but very cool thing. We have the car cover, which the car was fitted under. Nice that it comes with one of those. We have the spare valet key, which I didn't really have a look at either, but basically it comes with 2 normal keys, and then this rather odd valet key, which is what you can use just to unlock the car, but not to start it. So not if you need a valet to park your car, basically, just if you need a valet to get something out or something like that. Anyway, we've got the invoices and documents. Won't reveal all of that, but we will be talking prices in a moment. We have the Lamborghini accessory originale, which is the smart charger, the trickle charger from Ctek, which actually comes in quite a nice Lamborghini pouch, it has to be said. Inside here, though, is where we have a world of different cables, and the clamps, like I said, are the complicated ones that have to go under that section, under the foam, inside the Cofango, which needs the key to open it. Bit of a process. Unusual that there isn't a more efficient way to do that, or at least there isn't one that I've been able to find yet, but we're only one night into ownership, so early stages. This pack lives in the front. Now inside here, we have all of the instruction books. There's basically a tree worth of paper in here. A lot of different things. The launch specification, the blue and orange. I haven't read any of that yet. I do like to read instruction books with new cars. I find it really helps to find out features about the car that you didn't know about, and I will at some point have a look through all of those when there's a little bit more time. And then inside here, there's actually quite a lot of stuff. It even comes with some Lamborghini gloves, if you need to do any mechanical work on your car yourself. We've got the inflator, we've got the center lock nut to open up the center lock wheels if it's ever needed. Obviously you need to go to specific places to get those done. We've got the towing eye, we've got a screwdriver and spanner. Just random nice package that you don't often get stuff like this these days, or maybe you do, but not with so many of the other cars that I have. We also have here our designs, the STO designs in the Cheers by Shmeemobile 150 shop, which represent what this will look like when we've added the yellow accents and some of the gloss black accents over the top of the car as well. So that is all going to happen to the STO in the near future. It's actually waiting just to be officially fully registered so that we can take it out to go and get all of that done and then get the car PPF'd, because when you look at this, we wouldn't want this paint to get damaged. It is really, really cool. Anyway, talking paint, you might be wondering how much the paint costs. Let's start going through all of the options and how much they were. This means we need to go through all of the specific options that I have on this very STO. Now the car itself, of course, is an uplift over the regular Huracan Evo. It is, including taxes, £260,012. When you add on delivery for £3,600, road tax for £2,245, registration here in the UK for £55, you get a price for the car with no options of £265,912, which is actually not that insane considering cars on the market at the moment. It's a big step up over the Evo rear-wheel drive or over, let's say, a used Huracan, but you're getting a slightly limited edition. I say it is a limited edition, but I imagine there will be quite a lot of them out on the roads eventually. Now, fundamentally, visuals, the paint is from Ad Personam. I got a paint sample earlier in the year when I was out at Lamborghini Broward in Florida. Also went to check out some additional samples to see what yellows would look like for the interior and stuff when I was over at Lamborghini Newport Beach in California. So I kind of spec'd this car between 3 different dealers and talking to Ad Personam at the Lamborghini factory over a video call, which was really quite cool to be able to do that, to go through the different spec. Viola Bast, however, the paint color was £11,448. The more expensive exterior option was to add all of the carbon fibre for the exterior package, which includes everything like the front splitter all the way across in visual carbon, the louvres here, the wing, all of the exterior parts basically as one pack, and that comes in at £14,580. It was about £3,000 more to go gloss carbon fibre, but with most of the Shmeemobiles, I actually quite like the contrast. So all of the Senna, the GT, and the 675 LT, for example, all have satin carbon against gloss paint. Another upgrade was to have the Heck monolock forged wheels. Those were £1,620 to be finished in satin black, and then adding the yellow calipers behind them was an additional £1,092. We now need to head to the interior of the car, so come with me here. Let me open up the door for you. The handles are quite cool, aren't they? And talk about the options on the inside. And we'll start this with the seats. As I said, the new sport seat design, finished here in unicolor. You can have it in bicolor, which would give you these black leather inserts in a more bright color if you wish, but given how bright the exterior of this car is, I went with quite a more subtle, sporty interior. So the sport seats are £5,940. Then if you look at the interior trim, you'll notice all of the controls on the selector, around the start button, and all of the switch gear are all dark chrome as opposed to a bright silver. That's an option combined with the carbon twill package, which gives you, for example, the carbon fibre air vents and a few more interior upgrades. And that's a pretty pricey option at £7,020. That's actually a lot. Colours on the inside, the stitch, for example, the yellow stitching you see across the dashboard, that yellow stitch, to have a contrast there, is £768. To add the same stitch to the steering wheel, to have the yellow stitching on the steering wheel, is £216. I have the travel package, which gives you a luggage net on the passenger footwell, I think. Might be another part of that as well, but the travel package was £480. One quite expensive option as well is the full smartphone interface. So through the system in the center of the car, you have basically the ability to bring up all sorts of telemetry information, brake temperatures, and so much more. But this can also obviously connect to your phone and Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, I think, that kind of thing. That was £2,928. An option that was, I'm going to say pricey, given I think it should probably just be on it anyway, is cruise control. Cruise control, maybe you don't need it on a car like this, but I tend to drive long distances often, so I added cruise control, £768. £768 for cruise control. Feels like a lot of money. Other things that I would say are necessary: lift system. You get a lift system for the front axle, so the suspension raises up if you need to get over any bumps or anything like that. Lift system was £3,252. And my final option on this car is around the very back of the car, adding the rear view camera, which he says is right here. The rear view camera came in at £1,728, which means we have £51,840 of options on this car, which isn't too bad, to be honest. I could have spec'd it a lot higher than that, and I managed to contain it slightly. I mean, it's still enough money to buy like that, for example, the V8 Vantage. But with these cars, you want to make them unique. You want to make them your own personal specification. I think it's a very big part of the car itself. Now, I would like to show you also a few of the things on the inside. So let's take a seat on board. Inside here then, one thing about the car that I drove a couple of months ago that I really did not like was that it had the full carbon fibre skin for the floor and for the footwells. In this car, I opted not to have that, and instead I have these very high grip hard floors, which work so much better, because with the carbon floors, when you try to press on the pedal, your heel just slides around and it doesn't work at all. It's a complete nightmare. The seats themselves, you can pull this lever, which just looks cool to slide them forwards and backwards. You can change the angle of the base, and you can adjust the rake of the backrest as well. There's a little bit of storage space behind us, not a huge amount. And the problem with the rear view is that while you have a great window, you have a snorkel and a complete obstruction to what you're able to see behind. That is absolutely and totally useless, but nobody bought this car to be looking too much at what's going on behind them. If we just wake it up for a moment, turn on the ignition, we have the full digital dashboard screen, we have the full infotainment system in here as well. We have in here, every time you have to hit accept, but something I think is pretty cool about this is if you go into vehicle and then you go into LDVI, this is where you get all of your details, like your brake temperatures, tyre pressures, and everything that's connected to the car. And that's probably the only car that I've ever seen that level of information. Now, I didn't go for the full track telemetry cameras, which puts a camera somewhere here behind you and in the bumpers for recording your data, because it was quite a few £1,000s. And you can also opt to have the magnesium wheels and the cage and extinguisher. And I didn't go the full hog on them. Maybe I should have done, I don't know. It's a lot of money to spend if you only use it once or twice out on track. Unsure. The other part of the carbon package, by the way, is this lovely carbon piece across the full part of the dashboard. I think I've got just the right amount of yellow accents and details inside here. It all ties in very nicely. There's no storage, really. There's your armrest here, small storage tray, and a 12-volt plug right behind it. USB-C ports. We've got a small glove box. Goes in there. Maybe that's where the the books live in the front, so they don't need to go in anything there. And we have these dark chrome switches, including the lift system just over here, for example, as well, which lifts the nose up a couple of centimeters just to help get that carbon fiber lip over anything that you might need to climb it over. We've got our different driving modes. Turn it up into Trofeo, for example. I'm just going to hit the button. because why not? It sounds absolutely awesome. This car is just ludicrously loud. I mean, it's cold at the moment and we've only got 30 miles on the clock, so I can't rev it aggressively, but it revs up so fast. That's a small touch of the throttle. It's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. I don't want to rev it to the red line, even though it's got a lower red line when the engine's cold, just because it's disturbingly loud how much noise it makes. The seating position you have in here, though, when you look out towards the front, is really odd because the glass goes so far towards the nose. It's got such a short front overhang, front clam, that you have this strange perspective of the windscreen almost being, well, it feels near on flat at some mad angle, obviously aerodynamically very efficient and looks very cool, looks very Lamborghini, and let's face it, that's what this is supposed to be. Back out of the car then, let me close it. Of course it would be nice if we had Lamborghini butterfly doors or something crazy. This is what the key for the car looks like, and I'm sure some people will comment that this is effectively a VW Group Audi key with a different metal piece on the end. You're right. That's not wrong. But what normally happens with these cars, and a lot of people ask me about this with the AMGs, is that the key itself is linked to the effectively technology, wiring loom and infrastructure of the car when it's originally introduced. And you have to remember that the Huracan came out 7 or 8 years ago. So this is the key that was on the model when it came out back then, as opposed to the newer keys, which are on the Urus, for example, and will be on future models to arrive. So the keys always link to the first model of a car that came out. So even the GT Black Series, for example, has the same key as the SLS and the original AMG GT, which are obviously significantly older because of the infrastructure inside the car. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the exterior accents and my plans in that regard. Now don't get me wrong, this looks awesome, and I know adding the colors will be controversial. Adding some more yellow is going to make this completely in your face. Very unusual choices for me, arguably, but it's how I originally designed it, and I want it to be a little bit unique. So effectively, we're going to color match the brake calipers with the livery on the exterior. And when I say livery, I mean anything that's satin black will go yellow, basically. So this whole piece that runs around the front, across the nose, as per the blue and orange launch car. Not entirely sure about the mirrors yet. The side rocker gets a little bit more complicated because this bit will go yellow, but so will this rocker panel, as they say. And then that kind of section, that triangle, that wedge through here, I'll probably do gloss black to match the gloss black that will be up top on the roof. I can't decide what to do with the snorkel, because originally on my design, I was going to paint the entire snorkel yellow. It was going to be literally just yellow against black. Remember, this won't be Viola Bast, it won't be pink, it will be black. And that in yellow would really stand out, but it looks really cool in satin carbon, so I'm not entirely sure. The end plates on the wing, those will go yellow. Obviously the wing itself will stay carbon. I think maybe a yellow pinstripe or something down the top, or section down the top of the shark fin at the back. And then here at the rear of the car, basically this section around the bottom of these huge openings, all the way up and around, this will all be yellow over the top of the STO logo. I just still find it crazy how open this is. Like if that exhaust was hot, you could burn yourself, or some kid walking around a car show. Better not put their hands in there, because that would be a bit of a problem. And I wouldn't recommend anybody follows an STO very closely, because this is going to ping every possible stone out the back, which isn't ideal. Now my car is basically on a set of road tires. You can obviously put it on a more track focused tire. Maybe I will down the line, we'll see. I'm not sure how much it will impact driving dynamics on the STO, or exactly obviously how it was engineered and what the original intentions were. So what's next for this car, you might be wondering? Why have I not taken it out for a drive yet? Obviously at this point, the bodywork doesn't have paint protection film. It will go to Topaz, like all of the other Shmeemobiles. So we will have PPF on all of the body painted parts. We'll work out what we're going to do with accents. I was originally going to paint them, but I am now tempted to do the accents vinyled and then maybe decide to paint them down the line, or maybe just decide to keep them vinyled, because why not? So we'll see. A decision needs to be made about that in the upcoming future. Of course, at the moment, actually the first car I have booked at Topaz is going to be the AMG GT Black Series in Solar Beam, which is going to be very cool. Then when that is done, we'll go and work on getting this done. I'm basically just being patient with it, because the car has actually come through significantly earlier than we expected. I think I referenced this a little bit yesterday when we were collecting it. Basically, it wasn't going to be due until mid-November, maybe, and here we are, 6 weeks before that, with an STO. So I got a call saying, yeah, the car's going to be here in a few days, do you want to come and get it? And I'd been warned that it might come earlier than expected, as I relayed on to you guys. And then, yeah, there it was at Lamborghini Pangbourne. And here it is now at the Shmuseum, which is just crazy. I mean, it's hard to explain. Obviously, I've been lucky to buy lots of incredibly cool cars, many of which you see here. And I think out of the 42 cars now, so the 42nd car I think I've ever owned, about half of them nearly are still in the collection, which is mad. But out of all of them, this is probably the one that's made me go, OMG, the most of the whole lot. Not obviously any discredit to the Ford GT or the Senna, which are wild cars in every way, but just the insanity of a Lamborghini, a Huracan STO in this color, Viola Bast. It's just mad. And it's a story behind the colour as well. The colour was actually originally formulated by Lord Aleem on his Aventador SVJ. He nicknamed it Viola Ashifa after his mother, and Lamborghini then basically brought the colour in-house and have made it an ad personam option, which has made it possible, of course, for customers like me, for example, to be able to spec it on a car like this, which is really, really, really extraordinary. So there we go, a bit of an induction tour to my Huracan STO, a run through of the options, the spec list, the prices, for a bit more information about what it's all about. And one thing that's really cool, by the way, I'm not sure if this is in every market, but here in the UK, it also includes 4 years of warranty and a 4-year service pack. Now, that might sound normal, but remember a service in regular cars, let's say, but on cars like this, your service bills actually add up to a lot of money if you're spending £1,000 or £2,000 every year to do them, depending what it is, plus of course a 4-year warranty. So that's worth £10,000 to £15,000 in the price to have that pack, you could say. So that's really quite cool as well. I'm just going to be standing here looking at it for ages because there are so many angles and the color has so many different colors within it, different shades within it, from the brighter pinks to the darker purples and to the different lighting environments. But obviously here in the Shmuseum, with the lighting we have, it looks bonkers. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for joining today. Thank you for being part of the journey to the Huracan STO, but there is a lot more to come with this car here and on the Shmee 150 channel. But for today on the Shmuseum channel, that is all. Until next time.